be the real thing. Tell me now, what's on your mind? Whisper soft to me that you want me. There's magic in your fingertips, it's magic when we kiss. I can be myself with you, kiss me now, I insist. Make me yours, just take me now, I'm helpless to resist. Got me so invested in this thing, it's more than just a fling. It's more than just a fling. It's more than just a fling. I can't help that it is more than just a fling. Now I know that it's the real thing, the real thing. Take your time, I'm on a high, high. My body yearns for you to taste me. No, there's magic in your fingertips, it's magic when we kiss. I can be myself with you, kiss me now, I insist. Make me yours, just take me now, I'm helpless to resist. Got me so invested in this thing, it's more than just a fling. It's more than just a fling. It's more than just a fling. I can't help that it is more than just a fling. Now I know that it's the real thing, the real thing.
Hi, everybody. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Hi, everybody. Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, I see the ones. Good evening, everybody. Hello, 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 and welcome to Bella's Corner, where the truth is delivered with love. I thank you so much for everyone joining me tonight. It is good to see everybody. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please, please, please. Don't forget to hit your notification bell as well. Again, please like the video on your way in. Thank you so much for being here with me, Future King. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here, Conley. I appreciate you. Chavis, hello. And good evening, Miss Fem Gems. We are going to have a call-in tonight, so please stick around. I would love to receive some of your feedback on the topic that we're going to be talking about today. Hello to you, Dre from Harrison Family Values. Thank you so much for being here, sir. And thank you for being a channel member. It is so good to see you. And again, thank you. Go ahead and put yourself on wife support today. Hit the join button on your PC or even on your phone. I believe you can go to the desktop view and you can click the join button as well there. Put yourself on wife support today. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm not going to waste time because I want to hear what you all have to say. I want to get your input. So we are going to get into it. So I decided today to talk about, well, tonight rather, I decided that I want to talk about how good husbands, right? Because when I'm speaking to the ladies about how to prepare themselves for their husband, for the right man, for a man, I'm referring to the good men, the husbands, the marriage-minded men. So specifically, again, how do good husbands, leaders, protectors, teachers, providers, men who are wise, of good and noble character, who are honest, who are masculine, respectful, right? These types of men. How do these types of husbands, how can these types of future husbands support their pre and postpartum wives? As you all know, I've got a 1.5-year-old and a 3-month-old. So I literally just went through this all over again recently. All right. So we're going to talk about it. I know there were some gentlemen in my chat from my last live stream where I talked about, where I asked the ladies if they're ready to be wives and mothers. And, I started talking about postpartum and things like that. And then there were some men in the chat who wanted to, know a little bit more about postpartum, how long does it last, and things of that nature. So this is, again, what stemmed from this discussion today, because I just don't think this is talked about enough. And I think this will benefit, again, the future husbands out there, even the gentlemen whose wives are pregnant currently, and even to the future mothers out there. We're going to talk about some things you could essentially expect as you guys enter this phase in your life. Femjum said, I watched your video with you, and the young lady was like, I've learned a lot. I'm not too sure what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Let me know. Funny. We will see how many more. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay, you're talking about the Real Femme Sapien video. I watched that video with you and Real Femme Sapien. I was like, okay, great. Okay, well, I'm so happy you enjoyed it. Yes, I love talking to Allie of Real Femme Sapien. She's awesome. And I'm sure she and I will have more conversations in the future. Okay, again, hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Please go ahead and hit the like button on your way in. Thank you for being here. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So how do good husbands support their pre and postpartum wives? So, gentlemen, support starts while she's pregnant, of course. Immediately, once baby is conceived, her hormones begin to change because she is now housing and growing a life. So, I've said in past live streams I have slightly talked about the things I went through with my children when I was pregnant. But first trimester, which is the first 3 months of pregnancy, it started rough. Okay, I was in my emotions, I was in my feelings, I was very irritable, very emotional. Okay, couldn't keep down food, didn't like food was bland. You hear me? Like, I would take a bite or two and I was like, this is disgusting, please get this away from me. Cooked onions made me nauseous, boiled eggs made me nauseous. Okay, all of those things was happening to me. They were symptoms of my pregnancy. So again, gentlemen, support starts when she's pregnant, because you're going to have to be dealing with all of that. Okay, you're going to have to be dealing with her mood swings. Dre, I'm trying to talk to him because you have children. So maybe if you have time, sir, I know it's late and I know you have a family, but I would love to hear your opinion if you have the time. And maybe you could give us some pointers, give the gentlemen some pointers on how to support their wives. She's going through a whole lot because, again, she's housing a whole new baby, y'all. Okay? A new child, a new life. She's growing that child. So the support that you render to her during that time, starting from first trimester, starting from when she essentially finds out she's conceived, it sets a foundation that's needed for what you're going to go through for during the labor process, during the delivery process, and the postpartum process. So again, the support that she needs starts from the time she finds out she's pregnant, because the both of you are a team, right? So I encourage you to have open communication and understanding. The both of you, I'm referring to, the both of you have open communication and understanding. The both of you be self-aware emotionally and in your disposition, in how you're coming off to your man, to the world, to people, right? And also remain affectionate. Okay. Those are three things, 3 pointers in a way. Have open communication and understanding, be self-aware and emotionally and in your disposition, and to remain affectionate. These are ways to support one another. These are the ways to set a good foundation. Although by this time, hopefully you two have known each other right by then. So you've created a form of foundation. You have a foundation, but this is, just to further strengthen it, because you're about to enter into a whole different phase in your life, which is bringing children into the world, right? So your relationship is going to change. The dynamics of your relationship is going to change. So again, these things, as I just mentioned, will set a even more firm and sturdy and wider foundation for your marriage. Okay. So I love how you said your husband picked up the slack, like chores, and relieved her mental stress, and outsourced things like meal prep services and delivery. So exactly. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Thank you. Fem Gems. Hello, Miss Lisa. Thank you so much for being here. I love seeing women in my chat. I love it. I love seeing feminine women in my chat. So thank you for being here, Miss Lisa. And again, thank you for being here, Miss Fem Gems. Oh, and I see you, Mona. Thank you for being here, Mona. Oh, and Bria. Hey, ladies. Hey, good evening. Thank you for being here. I would love for you ladies to hop on, click the link if you can. I know it's late and all of you have families, but if you can, share your experience when I drop the link. I would love to hear from you. Okay, let's go. Let's get into it. So I can drop the link. All right. All right. So, gentlemen, how can you support her while she's pregnant? I encourage you to get familiar with what the trimesters look like. So you should know how far along your woman is, okay? I encourage you to, again, familiarize yourself with the trimesters. I liked watching like week by week pregnancy updates in a way on YouTube. There were channels called What to Expect in Today's Parents. They have just simple short videos on like week 8, of pregnancy, week 9 of pregnancy, week 30 of pregnancy. They make videos for each week, and they essentially tell you what to expect in terms of like if you're going to have morning sickness, when certain symptoms will bump it up or kind of dull down, and they also tell you the development where your baby is in their development. So, maybe your baby is the size of a kidney bean one week, and then a cabbage another week, and then a watermelon another week, or a pear. So I liked watching those things when I was pregnant. And I encourage the dads out there, the husbands out there, to go ahead and watch that with your lady, even if she maybe isn't watching those weekly. Go ahead and put her on to it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and watch those things together, so that way the both of you can know what to expect. And I actually wanted to kind of show you guys what it looks like. Hold on. Yeah, nope, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Anyway, I don't think that's necessary. Okay, anyway. But yeah, I encourage you, again, what to expect. And today's parents, go ahead and check out those updates, watch those together. And that way the both of you can learn together. And then you can refer to your baby as, your little bean, 1 week. Since you're not going to know what the gender is by then if your baby is so small by then. So I encourage that. Okay. Also, while she's pregnant, I'm going to kind of break down this conversation into how to support her emotionally and spiritually, and then physically as well. So while she's pregnant, emotionally and spiritually, of course, pray over her, pray over baby. Discuss things that you guys are going to do together once baby's here. Maybe christening, maybe family reunions, families being able to visit, right? Have those discussions now. So then by the time it comes up later, when the baby's here and when both of you are sleep deprived, you won't be snapping back and forth at each other because you've already previously had that conversation. Emotionally, get her that favorite snack or what she's been craving during the pregnancy. I know when I was pregnant with my first, I craved milkshakes, okay? I craved a strawberry milkshake, no whipped cream. Okay. And that's what I got. I did give in to the temptation to satisfy my craving because they say, and I know there's some mamas in the chat, so please let me know if they've told you this as well. But they say if pregnant mama is craving something, is craving a particular thing, there must be something in that particular meal, dish, drink, whatever. There must be some type of nutrients that's needed for the baby, for the pregnancy. That's what they say. So Bella was craving strawberry milkshakes, no whipped cream. Okay. So I encourage you, husbands, if you know she's craving a milkshake, if you know she's craving, some greens, if you know she's craving just blueberries with peanut butter, purchase that for her. Bring that. Surprise her with that. That will make her feel good because maybe she's, feeling self-conscious because her stretch marks are coming in. Because maybe she's getting bigger or, more bloated. Because again, gentlemen, her body, the chemistry in her body is changing. Because it's housing a new life. It's growing a new life. Baby takes a lot out of you, a lot out of mama, even from the time baby is conceived. Hi, Joseph. Thank you for being here. I got my mother-in-law to visit, who was happy to watch her new grandchild cook and clean, and she made my wife take a rest. Exactly. Thank you for being here, Joseph. I appreciate you. I know a woman who was crazy, but then when she became pregnant, she became gentle. But when she gave birth, she got crazy again. I wish you stayed pregnant. Pregnancy can change. Pregnancy does a lot to a woman's body, gentlemen. And so I really want you to understand that because, I know we're emotional and things like that, but this is a time to have grace. I mean, this is your lady, this is your wife, right? So you love her, so you're going to have grace. But sometimes I understand that men, you guys don't know. And you don't necessarily have the conversation. So that's why I'm here, just to kind of plant some seeds in your mind. So when you have children in the future or whatever the case is, maybe you'll remember something I say tonight. And it will help you support your wife better during this time that's supposed to be filled with joy and excitement. And I hope yours is. Okay. Miss Lisa said, we tag team the night shift, sleeping with our newborn for the first 2 weeks. Yes, the first 2 weeks can be a lot. Whether baby's, being breastfed, bottle fed, baby's waking up possibly every hour, or your new baby sleep, longer than that. My babies got up, especially being that young, while they were still newborns. They got up at least every 2 hours, like hour and a half, 2 hours, no fail. I wasn't getting any sleep. Okay, team, no sleep. Team, haven't gotten a full night's sleep since my first son was born. Okay, but yes, tag teaming. That is another way, gentlemen, that you can support her once you guys have the baby. All right, awesome. I've got a donation from Sir Rich Turner. I appreciate you for being here, sir. Let me go ahead and give you what I owe you. Thank you so much, Rich Turner, for being here. And for your $10 super chat. Stopping through to support. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you for being here. And if you decide to stay, I hope you learned something here tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. Okay, let's see what Bria says. Yep, that's what they said. Okay, so see? Yep, that's what they said. Not sure what nutrients I was missing when I was eating my cinnamon raisin bagel and cream cheese, both pregnancies. Girl, come on now. Cream cheese. You got protein and cream cheese. You got dairy and cream cheese. Well, it depends on what kind of cream cheese you had, of course. Oh my God, is my baby awake? Child, I think my baby just woke up. Okay, we'll see. Okay. No, I think he's asleep. Okay, good. I'm watching him on the monitor, guys. Look, it's right here, right next. Okay. Raisins, I'm not too sure what the nutritional value is in raisins, so I'm not even going to lie. But bagel, there's usually protein in bagels. So Bria, that sounds like a great pregnancy snack. Okay? No guilt there. Hey, UFO, thank you for being here. I appreciate you for being here. Shout out to you, UFO. There is a delay with my bullhorn. Okay, UFO says refuse to let my ex lift or move anything. I thought was too heavy for her, or use ladders or step stools to do anything or get anything during her pregnancy. Exactly, he was protecting his woman and protecting his child, his unborn child. Shout out to you, UFO. All right, Kenley, thank you so much for your $5 donation to the platform. Keep the good work going, sis. I appreciate you, Kenley, for being here, always supporting me. I appreciate you. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. Physically, how can you support her while she's pregnant? Put this one back up here. Physically as well while she's pregnant. Even UFO mentioned he didn't let his woman, his wife at the time, use ladders to pick up anything heavy. That's a way to physically assist. Also, I have on here meal prep. Prepare some of your meals now, such as like spaghetti, right? Or if you've got, if you eat chicken, freeze you some chicken or whatever. Have some food ready to go, whether you cook it or not. Have it ready to go in the freezer so you can conceivably, right, thaw it and then, warm it up. That's why I mentioned spaghetti. So that way, neither of you have to cook. Okay? That way, neither of you have to cook. Meal prepping helps. Again, meal prep spaghetti, different pastas, chicken. You can even freeze bread. You can make, some Southern style black-eyed peas and freeze some of those. Have those things stacked up in your freezer in preparation, because again, neither of you are going to want to cook. You're not going to have energy. You're going to be sleep deprived. And she's really probably not going to get out of the bed for like the first 2 weeks. Okay. Also, show affection to her. Again, she might not be feeling herself. She's got extra fat. She's got fat around her midsection because she just carried your baby for 9 months. So she's got some extra, again, fat around her midsection. It's not comfortable to sit down, especially when you've got a newborn, right? It's not comfortable to sit down on that hoo-ha. So she's got to be sitting, leaning all up in the bed, right? She still may be bleeding a little bit. If she's nursing, she's trying to figure out how to nurse the baby. Okay. I went a little bit ahead of myself, but that's postpartum. But still show affection. Hugs, kisses, and massages, okay? She's carrying all that weight on her frame, around her back. I had a lot of lower back pain. So lower back massages helped me a ton. Okay, let's get into it. Postpartum rage, depression, and anxiety. So I wanted to show you this article very quickly that kind of shows you kind of like some numbers behind postpartum depression. Okay, let's do this here. All right, so this is on the CDC's website. Postpartum depression is depression that occurs after having a baby. The feelings of postpartum depression are more intense and last longer than those of baby blues, and it is a term that is described as worry, sadness, and tiredness that many women experience after having a baby. Baby blues symptoms typically resolve within a few days. If they don't resolve after a few days, that's when they turn into postpartum depression. Okay, so depression is a common, serious illness, right? And 1 in 10 women in the United States have reported symptoms. 1 in 10, so 10% of women having babies have reported symptoms. And some women, I believe honestly, the number is probably higher than that, because some women, they may not even realize that is what they're going through at the time. Maybe they just think they're emotional, because I went through that. I just thought I was being emotional and difficult to deal with. But once my husband pointed out to me how difficult I was to deal with, that is when the light bulb went up, on, off, whatever in my head. And I said, okay, you know what? Maybe this is, there's something deeper to this. Maybe I'm not just being moody and emotional. Maybe it's a little bit deeper. Okay. So that's why I said it's important to have open communication with your husband, with your wife, specifically in terms of feelings and your dispositions and how, one another are treating each other, because it can help keep the two of you can keep each other grounded. Because having a new baby will test your relationship, because again, you're going to be sleep deprived and things of that nature. And so it's going to be a little bit difficult emotionally and even on your body. And so a lot of times a new baby can cause strain on a couple. And so that's why I encourage open communication. I encourage, keeping up your spirituality amongst the two of you. Remain affectionate, because you are a team. Okay. Anyway, 10% of women have reported postpartum depression. And then research also shows that 1 in 8 women with recent life birth experiences have symptoms of postpartum depression. Okay. So that just kind of, again, shows you a little bit of what I've been talking about in terms of women experiencing postpartum depression. Okay. There's also something called postpartum rage. So I thought this was interesting. So let me go ahead and show you that one. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. I feel like I haven't used StreamYard in so long. It's like I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Okay. Is this it? Nope. Is this it? Excuse me, guys. Here we go. All right. This is what I want to show you. Pop up. This is acting up. Act right for me, y'all. Hold on, guys. Okay, here we go. I don't know why it was acting like that. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys can hear this. So,
hi, my name is Whitney.
Did you hear that? Did you hear her say, hi, my name is Whitney? Let me know something. Let me know something. Yes, you can absolutely have sex while pregnant, all the way up till having the baby. It is 100% safe. Yes, very similar. Okay, great. You guys can hear. All right. So yeah, this is called, she's going to talk about postpartum rage. So let's see what she has to say about it.
a licensed therapist, and I also specialize in maternal mental health. A frequently asked question I get, especially for moms during their first session, is why do I feel so angry or irritable during this period? And I often tell them this is a period where you expect that you're going to feel great and loving, but one of the biggest things that come about is some moms feel more angry than they do sad or lethargic. You may have heard of postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, but there are moms that feel intensely angry and irritable during their postpartum period. For these moms, this may be postpartum rage. Yes, postpartum rage is a thing, and it's when moms may feel irritability, anger, or outbursts, or even shame during the first year of their baby's life. But there's support that can be given to this when you have a maternal mental health therapist that can support you through this, and there's no shame in it, and you are not alone.
Okay. So that's postpartum rage. And again, some ladies, they don't know that they go through it. Okay. So I encourage you, gentlemen, again, learn about these things so you can learn how to support her emotionally better. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. And as I wait for people to come on up, I'm going to continue on with the discussion here. Okay, so during postpartum, gentlemen, so she's popped out the baby, she was bleeding, she may or may not have ripped. So now she's healing. Her uterus is still going down because, mind you, the bigger her belly gets, that means her uterus is enlarging. So once she spits the baby out, her uterus now has to contract and go down to its normal size. And that takes time. That takes weeks. And her abs also have to mend back together. So again, mama's body is going through so many different changes. And also, I want to let you know that women's hair sheds. When a woman is pregnant, we get the glowy skin, our nails grow, our hair grows, but it also doesn't shed. But your hair is supposed to naturally shed. And so since her body wasn't was doing what it was doing while it's making baby, and now that her hormones are now going back to their normal state, now her hair shedding is going to try to start catching back up. This is what we understand to be postpartum hair loss or postpartum shedding. So mom's hair, she may notice clumps coming out in her hand. Or when she's detangling her hair, there's more hair that she has to gather up now than usual. So her hair is shedding. She's losing weight. She has extra fat around her midsection. She maybe has lost some comfort in her mobility. Maybe she's had a C-section, so her incision site and stitches have to heal. Or again, her vagina has to heal. She's also sleep deprived. Her body is no longer the same. This is what she's going through all at the same time, all while maybe trying to breastfeed if that's what she's doing. If she's breastfeeding, her nipples are hurting. They're chapped. Maybe baby is having an issue latching. She's tired. Again, she can't move around the house like she normally would otherwise be able to because she just had this baby. So how can you support her? When she's ready to get up and start going, encourage her to go places, maybe going on a walk or something like that. Tell her that she's doing great as a new mom. Tell her that you're there for her. How do you support her physically? Help do the household chores. My husband picked up doing the household chores. He was cooking and he was cleaning because I was healing. I was resting. And there was a lot going on. So I really couldn't even stand up for too long. I couldn't stand up for too long. So there was no way I was going to be able to cook. There was no way I was going to be able to clean. So gentlemen, certainly expect that. Certainly expect for some moments when she's not going to be able to do anything but sit in that bed and take care of that baby. Massages help as well. And then when she can, encourage her to exercise if she's expressed that she wants to do it. And also, gentlemen, if you have the ability in your employment, in your career, while pregnant, try to save up the days or the money or whatever the case is to be able to support and stay at home with her because she's really going to need you. So if you have that ability, I encourage you to try to stay home for as long as you can. I understand people have bills and things like that. So, that's that. But if you can, by all means, try to stay home with her for as much as possible, for as long as you can, so prepare for that. Because she's going to need you. So do save up, do what you can so you can stay at home. Okay. Also, to the ladies, I want to let you know, I want to remind you, I want to inform you. You're not the only one that's possibly going through some form of depression, some form of postpartum depression. Men go through it too. Just like daddies get pregnancy symptoms, daddies get postpartum too. My husband was nauseous during my first pregnancy. He was nauseous. I wasn't nauseous, but he was. Because it's a spiritual thing. It's his seed. So he's still connected. Although the baby's within you, he's still connected to that soul, to that seed. So again, my husband had morning sickness with our first child. So please be aware, ladies. Pay attention to how he's feeling. Check on one another. How are you feeling? How are you doing? What do you need from me? Even if, mama, you can't do much, at least still be there emotionally for him. Because the two of you are a team. So if the both of you need treatment, seek the treatment you need. Also, reading the Bible if you are a Christ believer. Reading the Bible about 15 minutes a day can help with depression and anxiety. And whether or not he isn't going through postpartum depression or whatever the case is, still check on him because he still has feelings and he still got to deal with you. Okay. So I really hope the gentlemen watching learn something. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Bria. Is this okay? Here we go.
Hey, Bella.
Uh,
So I wanted to add a couple of things. First of all, I love a postpartum, prepartum chat. They are one of my favorites. Um,
awesome.
a few things to add because I think, if y'all don't know, I'm a mama too. A toddler, and then my baby girl is becoming a big girl. Not a fan of that. But one of the things that I think would be really helpful for husbands and was really helpful for me with my husband, and something that I didn't ask him to do, but I guess he just figured out to do it, is to jot down some of the things that are going on, like postpartum. So I feel like for me, especially when I had my daughter, I forgot a lot of things leading up to appointments. So they would
Yes.
ask the
Mom
questions.
brain.
Yes, I would know it like home, and then I would get to the appointments like I don't know. And my husband would have like all of the same apps on my phone, and would coolest thing because I would be like, I don't remember. And he would pull up, oh, well, the baby eats this often. This is how many ounces, she's been breastfeeding. And he would have it all on hand. And I think that really helps postpartum because the mom brain is real. And for me, it just made me feel so much more connected to my husband because I felt like he was more aware of what was going on, and he was more conscientious as a parent to know, hey, this is my daughter too. And I need to know all of the things as well. So that's one thing, men, just take notes of eating times, of, what's going on with baby, what's going on with mom, how she's feeling. And actually that ended up helping me postpartum because I ended up tearing again and I didn't know. And my husband was like, she seems to be more in pain than she should feel at this junction of week 2. And my OB was like, well, let me check. And he ended up being the person that made her, he advocated for me. That's the biggest thing. You got to advocate. And before
Yes, I
baby
love that.
comes, you can advocate too. Know the birth plan, know what your wife, your spouse wants, so that if she's in pain and she can't explain, exactly what it is that she needs. Or for me, both of my OBs were on vacation when I went into labor. So again, he had to know the birth plan because then if I went in there, I don't know these doctors, but he knew exactly what it is that I wanted and then say yes and no for things that I was unable to explain to them. So just be aware. And that makes a good spouse anyway, though, y'all. Like, you got to be aware and anticipate
Facts.
your partner's needs. As a wife, that is so essential. But as a
Yes.
husband, it's like, oh my God, you're golden. You're golden. So those are my things. Be aware, take notes, be at the appointments, even if it's via phone, and say, hey, I know this, I was there, you were feeling this, that, and the third, and then know the birth plan because it makes a huge difference.
I love that. Thank you so much for your pointers, Bria. I mean, so I would say how so let's say your husband wasn't there, right? How important was the support from your husband to you, like personally? Like, how would you have felt? Just go run us through kind of how you would have felt in those moments had you not had the support of your husband, say labor, delivery, postpartum. Tell us some.
First of all, I had my first daughter during COVID. So I was only allowed one person. So my mom, his mom, no one was there. Okay. So if my husband wasn't there, I think I would have been scared. I would have been so unsure of myself and what I was able to do in that delivery room. Um, I would have allowed decisions to be made that I may not have agreed with after the fact because I was so flustered. That's
Yes.
that's the beauty of having a husband and having somebody that's grounded, because he didn't allow my emotions to dictate his emotions, and he was able to stand strong and say, no, this is not what we're doing. No, she asked for this, and if you can't do this, then we're going to try something else, but don't force this on her. So I think I would have been all over the place, and I would have compromised on things I did not want to compromise on in that birthing room.
I love
So
that.
when I had my son, I was like, no, I only need my husband there. My mom wanted to come because COVID was up, and, they were allowing more people. His mom wanted to come, but I said, no, the only person I need in that delivery room is my husband, because I know based off of the first time, he was going to do everything in his power to make sure I was all right. Because his goal, we realized this maybe a month into being pregnant with our first, his goal is that both me and baby come out of that delivery room okay. That was his focus. That was his focus the entire pregnancy. That was his focus the entire postpartum, is to make sure we were all right. And, it's just essential for you to be aware of, like, and this is like a dating thing too, y'all got to be aware of the people that you are linking up with, because these are going to be some very major moments in your life, and you got to have somebody there that knows what they are doing. And if they don't know, they gonna figure it out. My husband had all the birthing books. He was sending me videos of birthing, and, oh, well, you should try this, or maybe we can do this. And, well, I would say, oh, I have chills, and he would be like, hey, I read that in the whatever month, day, week, whatever calendar of what you're supposed to be feeling. It's normal, so don't get anxious about it. But he made me feel so ready to birth these babies, for real. And I felt so confident leaving that in his hands, and saying, you know what, if I can't
Yes.
articulate my needs, he knows what I need. And
Yes.
it made that I think that it makes a difference. And I always hear people say, well, I don't want any more kids, or, I'll never have another baby. But it makes a difference when you have somebody that made you feel so confident to go through birth. Like, after Aubrey, my daughter, I was like, maybe not, because this was scary. But then I thought about it. I'm like, nah, I got my person. Like, he did everything in his power to make me confident to have my son. And I do it 100 times
Yes.
over if it was something, that we wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
every year. But, it was a fact that he left an impact on me that said, you know what, I'm competent as a mom, but he's also competent as a dad. Like, it made
Yes.
the difference. It makes a difference in parenting too. It's not just in the pre and postpartum. That sets the standard for, I got the one baby girl who's very vocal at this time, very, very opinionated. And with that, I'm a softie for my kids, but he has to be the firm person that say, wait, hold on a second, no. And
Mm-hmm.
it just makes a huge difference when you are a present father, when you are a present partner, when it comes to childbirth and bringing your babies into the world and growing your babies. When you're in pain, when you're exhausted as a mom, that's when the husbands and the dads take charge. It shows how much effort you're willing to put in. And that's why I say, just take notes, just be aware, just look and see what's going on, and write things down. And if you don't know, ask somebody. My husband was big on asking, his my father-in-law, his father, and asking my dad, and uncles and stuff like that, about what you experienced in the birthing room. He said, because I want to be there. I'm not doing all that passing out and taking naps. I want to make sure I know what's going on for my wife. And he did it both times.
That's great. And I just love how you talked about how your husband was your biggest advocate. And like, it's not only about if you can't, in times when you can't speak, it's when you can speak, but you're maybe so focused on the pain, or so focused on the
Yes.
baby, or
Yes.
there's just so many things going on around you. That is a time where, your husband, stepped in for you. And I love that so much, because that definitely was something that my husband did for me. And we definitely had those conversations as well when I was pregnant, like how I wanted my labor and delivery to go, because I had both, as you know, I had both of my children natural. So, and I didn't want them like giving my kids all type of vaccinations right out the womb. So,
Yeah.
I made it clear, like, hey, only, vitamin K and, things like that. well, yeah, just vitamin K, and just, I delayed the cord clamping, and I delayed uh, the bath and everything, because I did, want things to be a certain way. And my husband definitely advocated for me, on my behalf in that regard, because, sometimes he didn't necessarily understand fully
Right.
why I wanted a particular, thing. But
But
he
you
was like, oh,
remember you wanted it. Yeah.
exactly. He remembered I wanted. He's like, what? I gotta go home. At the end of the day, I gotta go home with this woman. So
Yeah.
I want her to be good. I want her, to be happy. So if anyone has anything to add, even gentlemen who want to add how maybe they supported their wife, or whatever the case is during, this time, postpartum time, we would love to hear from you before we close out. Because I've just got Bria, so
Well, I
if no
will
one
say
else
one
comes up.
last thing about the
Yeah, sure.
postpartum
Yeah, go
depression,
ahead.
anxiety, and rage.
Yeah.
That and I told Bella this a few months ago via DM about mental health, and that we got to be careful when we just say we have things instead of
Mm,
letting our care team know and going
yes.
through the process to confirm it. Because sometimes what will happen is, especially with postpartum depression, people will say they have it, and then it might just be baby blues. So it minimizes sometimes the diagnosis in a social sense, obviously written down
Absolutely.
from the CDC and from different mental health therapy sessions and all of that. It's very clear on what it is. But from a social standpoint, sometimes what'll happen is, because we say we have things that we don't, it'll minimize it to our community instead of us going through the process and really diving deep into what it looks like. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are undiagnosed when it comes to postpartum
Mm-hmm.
depression, anxiety, but also there are a lot of people that are self-diagnosing. That's why people say they have anxiety or they have ADHD, and they have these things based off of what they think it is, and not based off of the
Mm-hmm.
people who went through years and years of schooling and, counseling hundreds of thousands of people to come to that conclusion. I'm not saying don't be aware of your own body, but I am saying make sure you go through the proper channels to make sure that that's what you have. Because what happens is
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure, okay, if I have this, I may have to take medication. So what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I always say, especially when it comes to like my mom group down here, is that don't just say you have something. Talk to your care team about it and see what they can do
Mm-hmm.
to help you. I said, because we can only go off of our own experiences as moms, which is great. But I want to make sure you get the best care possible. And that comes with listening and hearing what the professionals have to say. Because I had it. I actually went to my doctor and went through the proper channels for it. I had
Mm-hmm.
postpartum depression after my daughter, and I didn't realize it until a little later. And I was talking to my OB, and she said, well, why didn't you notify me earlier? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just was
Exactly.
going through the
Same. They're like,
motions.
how come you didn't say anything?
Right.
Like, those little quizzes that they give you
Yes.
every visit. Ladies, fill those out. I don't want to cut you. I'm gonna let you finish, Bria, but ladies, fill those out. Like, truly, how are you feeling? Because
Honestly,
they're
fill
asking
them
you
out.
for a reason in case you
Yes.
actually need help. And then you can't complain later and be like, nobody helped me. But you didn't help yourself, mama.
Yeah.
There are resources out there to help you. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Bria.
answer those quizzes honestly, because you know what happens? They'll go through
Mm-hmm.
that question, all your little papers, and they'll say, wait a second, why did you say this here? And they'll ask you. And it's no shame in it, because you know what? You
No.
being in the best mental state as a mom helps you with your children. It's no shame in it. You just got to be honest. And that's what's
Yes.
going to make you the most effective parent. When we get our own help, when we make sure our own selves are all right, our kids and our husbands will
Yes.
will be prosperous. Will have what they need. They don't have to worry about nothing if we are in good mental standing.
I love it. You got to put your own oxygen mask on first before you put on anyone else's. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Shout out to you, Bria. I appreciate you for coming up here. I wanted to ask you before I let you go, and I hear your babies. Why do you think it's taboo in the Black community to talk about mental health?
I think there's a plethora of things. I think one thing I know personally from my experience with postpartum depression is that it's very I think that there's a shame attached to it, and
Yes.
we think everything's a joke too. Like I think that there are things that we have a trauma response to it where it's funny, it doesn't apply to me, that never happened to me, so it doesn't happen to any of us, that's just something they made up. And then if we do have it, then it's like, you're not strong enough to deal with it, you don't have that, you're just very weak minded. And then, unfortunately, I've said this before when it comes to the church, is that pray it away, you have this thing, just pray for it. But I think we have to do a better job of being honest about what's going on with us. And in addition to that, making sure that I'm telling you, reach out to your care team, because we have a habit. We have two extremes, right? We have the extreme of we don't have anything going on with us, we're totally fine. Or we have the extreme of we got everything. We have all the things, everything. We have anxiety, we have this, we have that. So we're on two sides of the same coin, but it doesn't help to mask it on either end. I think that it's so taboo because we mask it if we have it, and we mask it if we think that we have it and we don't. And we don't go through the proper channels to figure out the issues in life. I think the only reason why I even started to investigate a lot of what was going on with me was because my mother-in-law is in school for psychology, and she would ask questions, and I would be like, and she would be like, well, your answers are seeming a little, she's going through her coursework, and she would ask questions, and I'm like, oh, well, I didn't even think about it that way. But because I had someone close to me, then
And
I
that's what it
started.
takes sometimes.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what it takes sometimes. That's why I mentioned open communication
Yes.
and understanding of one another during this time. So that way the two of you can be each other's, so he can be your rock, and so you can be his net.
Yes.
She can lean on him, and she can catch him when he falls, essentially. So ladies, be his net as he is your rock. Okay.
Yes.
So I hear you on that, Bria. Now, Bria, I have my children natural. Did you have yours natural? I can't remember. I know you breastfed
No,
yours.
neither
Okay.
one were natural.
Okay, no problem. Hey, no, I just want to ask her. I wasn't too sure. I knew you were breastfeeding. But
Yeah.
Fem Gems, she says, so are there different things for us ladies that want to have a natural birth? That's something she's desired. I had 2 natural births, Fem Gems. Both of my children were natural. And nope, everything's the same. Everything's the same. Only difference between a woman who has natural birth and a woman who maybe has a C-section, VBAC, or C-section, VBAC, or an epidural. The only difference is we can feel those contractions.
Do you feel like with your second it was faster?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Go,
Yeah.
go,
Same for me.
Bria,
It was.
Bria.
Go ahead.
I almost had
Wait.
my child in the
Did
car.
you do your birth story on your channel? I
did.
saw your preview for your video, but I don't know if I saw the video.
I kind of told it in an informal way, and then it's members only now. But once I can get to it, I'm actually going to do a birth story, like kind of piece it together in a vlog. But yes, my labor was quicker, Brie. I almost had him in the car.
I did too. I almost had my son in the car. In the parking lot of Marshall's. Oh my gosh.
Woo!
We pulled up because this is a hospital we never went to before, which is crazy. We pulled up and I was like, this is not the hospital. And I was like, but he's on his way out of here. So what we gonna do? My husband's like, it's okay. Everything's fine. I said, okay. And maybe 10 minutes later, we turned the corner and we were like, oh, it was on the other side of this, I don't know, random shopping center. And I asked my husband after, I said, what were you feeling when we pulled up to the Marshalls? He said, I was scared out of my mind, but I couldn't let you know that. But he was like, it's fine. It's okay. And we got in there and he came so fast. I did not expect that. I know people say that, but I didn't expect it. But
I
were you
did.
home for both of your births?
No, so for my first, I had him at a birthing center, and I saw something in here, FemGems. So FemGems, listen up, mama. Well, listen up. You're not mama yet, but listen up, girl. I had my first at a birthing center. So that's kind of like a home birth alternative. Like maybe you can't have a home birth, but you don't want to have a hospital birth.
Okay.
Look into birthing center. So I had him at a birthing center, Bria, and then I had my second one at a hospital because we, by the time we had moved to another state, and so giving birth is different here than it was than it is in Florida, because that's where we lived with our first one. And so it was easy to find a birth center. Here, I tried to find a birthing center, couldn't find one because of the laws here or whatever. And so I gave birth at a hospital, but I was being seen by midwives, and I did have a natural birth. So, but I definitely preferred a birthing center. Hopefully, next time I'll be able to have a home birth. So, that's my goal. But yeah, I had my first one at a birth center, and then I had my second at the hospital in the, I guess, kind of like the natural birth wing, I guess. I don't know. But yeah.
Was there anything new this postpartum time that wasn't for your first?
That's a good question. I think the only one I can think of, shout out to you, Team Peterson. I appreciate you for being here. Is that an arm baby? Yes, we talking about arm babies. Bria's got arm babies too. But the only thing I can think of, Bria, is I didn't have as much like bad of an experience healing from breastfeeding, like newly nursing, because by that time they were already, toughened up by then. But I think, and I mentioned it during my conversation with Allie. My cervix is descending, so I have some discomforts associated with that that I didn't have after having my first. So I had diastasis recti with my first one that closed after about 10 weeks. I didn't have diastasis recti with the second one though, but I do have the pelvic floor descending thing to work through and to heal from.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of been the difference that I noticed between the two. What about you? Did you notice any differences?
I think one of the biggest things was my pelvic floor and like bladder control was like completely different with my second. Did not prepare for that. But I think everything else was generally the same. I think with breastfeeding, it just came a lot more naturally, obviously, because I breastfed my daughter for 2 years. And then I'm at the 2-year mark with my son. So that was pretty much the same. And I think I had a lot more energy postpartum, surprisingly, because I had the 2 babies at home. But I think once I had him, I was ready to go home within 5 minutes. I was like, okay, how long do we have to stay here? I'm ready to get out of here.
Start packing.
Yes, I don't even think I like took anything out of my bag. I was just like, listen, we're having this baby, and then I'm ready to go back home to my daughter because it's the longest I had ever been not with her. So I was ready to go pretty quickly. I was pretty comfortable. I obviously didn't have the issue with tearing the second time around. My daughter was in the NICU. My son wasn't. So I didn't spend an additional amount of time in the hospital. And I think mentally I was more prepared. I did a lot more like spiritual preparation with my husband and a lot more praying and a lot more fasting. Surprisingly, I could fast while pregnant, which
I fasted too when I was pregnant. Quit playing. The baby
listen, it works. It works.
It does.
I feel like I was a lot more spiritually equipped and I was able to go back to church a lot quicker. Like I was back in
Love it.
service because my husband pastors, but I was back in service maybe the next Sabbath, and and I ain't looked back since. So I think there's a lot more grace given as you go along with this motherhood journey, and as you bring new babies into the fold. Like God gives you more strength than you thought you had to begin with. So that's some of the things that are
Absolutely.
different.
Well, I love it. And I appreciate you greatly, Bria, for coming on up. I know it's late and you've got your babies probably right on you. So I
All right.
appreciate you for taking the time to chat with us. And you dropped some gems. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about, where we can find you, YouTube, Instagram, what you do. And I'll go ahead and let you go after that.
So I'm primarily on Instagram. I do a lot of baking content now, motherhood content, spiritual content. I'm a first lady, I guess if you want to call it that. There's no second or third, but my husband pastors, so we do a lot more ministry things on my page. On my channel, we talk about marriage some, but primarily just equipping women spiritually as Christian women, and praying for strength, praying for our spouses, praying for their lives. So we do a weekly prayer. We do moms in prayer, which is big for me because it was a ministry God really gave me to help us as women be more spiritually aware and what to pray over our children, because you never know what this world is going to throw at you and your family. So I'm primarily on Instagram at Bria Joy Spires, and I'm on YouTube at Bria Joy Spires as well.
I think Mona just dropped her link. Yeah, go ahead and sub to Bria's channel and check her out when she's on there. Well, Bria, again, I appreciate you for being here, ma'am. And you have a wonderful night.
Thanks, Bella. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks. Bye. Okay, that was awesome. Okay, everyone, we're going to close it out. I did want to bring this up here. Christopher said pelvic floor therapist is good to have along with a midwife. I completely agree. I have a pelvic floor therapist now, and I was seeing midwives because, again, I gave some natural birth. So, yeah, that's great advice. And to the husbands out there, that's something you can definitely look into for her. And that'll further help her prepare for birth and all of that, and that will relieve some stress from your wifey. My biggest lesson. Exactly. Yes, motherhood absolutely is sacrificial. It certainly is. That's why you don't just give your womb up to any man. That's why you don't just have babies with any man, with any man who smells good and walks your way and has a cute smile. You know what I'm saying? Because having a baby certainly is sacrificial, and your body definitely changes. Your body will never be the same, and you're continuing on the seed of this man. Why would you continue on the seed and the legacy and last name, even though you may not give him give the child their last name? But why are you continuing on this man's seed if he isn't worthy of you giving that child his last name, or for a man who you can't see marrying? You have to take having babies, ladies, much more seriously than you do, because this is a new life. Names carry spirits. Bloodlines carry spirits. Okay, let me say another way. Names carry meaning. Bloodline carries certain traits and characteristics that can be positive or negative, that can affect you and that individual and that child. It is important to be wise, ladies, when it comes to who you allow inside of you, who you allow to finish with inside of you. Because the moment you have your period is the moment you can conceive children. And that is a life. And it's a whole lot of us complained about how our parents messed us up. Don't be that parent 25 years from now when your child is now grown and they can see how much you jacked them up, because you made horrible, unwise, reckless decisions with your womb. That's why it's important, ladies, to be careful who you have children with, because again, having children is sacrificial. And you don't want to be raising a child of a man who you don't know or don't like. Okay? Motherhood is a time, yes, there's healing and there's challenges with it, but it's a beautiful experience. And you don't want that experience that's supposed to grow you and be joyful, although there are times where it's tough or make it hard. You don't want to turn that into a sorry experience, because you, from the inception of the event, started with having a man who you otherwise having a baby, with a man who you otherwise shouldn't have. Okay. Husbands want legacy, but with the right wife. Exactly. And that's why a lot of you aren't married, because you showed that you were a good piece of ace, but not a good enough woman to get a ring. Okay. Protect your womb, ladies. I don't remember what I said, Christopher, but I appreciate you. Sometimes I stumble over my words. Okay, ladies. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you. I appreciate all of you for sticking by. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. Please hit that like button. We are done. I appreciate all of you for being here. I appreciate you, Wrench Turner, for sponsoring the show today. And thank you to Conley, who is always here supporting me. And I greatly appreciate all of you for being here with me tonight, because you did not have to be here with me. If you know of any girls or young women who you think would benefit from this information and from this conversation, then please share. The truth has been signed, sealed, and delivered by yours truly. Thank you so much for joining me once again. And until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
All you gotta do is say yes.
But your life does not. Oh my God. Oh my God.
My name is Jillian. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Canada. The highest level of education completed was high school. I decided not to go to college. And I said I'm single, right?
And then what do you do for work?
I'm a writer.
Okay. It's not for Vice though, right?
No,
Okay.
no. I saw that in the comments.
Yeah, fuck
No.
Vice. Okay. What about you?
Hi, my name is Hollywood. I'm a certified.